Welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner, licensed mental health counselor in the state of Florida. Moments of Clarity's mission is to educate and end the stigma on mental health through the inspirational stories of our exceptional guests. You can join in the show by calling Tiffany toll-free at 866-826-1340 or on Facebook and Twitter at MOC with Tiffany. Now, here's Tiffany Werner.
Hi, thanks for listening. This is Moments of Clarity. I'm Tiffany Werner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And I want to start off by saying hi to Ed behind the glass and helping me run the show.
How did you get your Facebook signed in there, all right?
I think so. And yeah, so one thing before we start the show is I was invited to welcome off raffle tickets to this upcoming event. It's called Leather and Laces, and it's at the Godfrey Hotel, and it's the water at Godfrey, and it's this huge Halloween party, and it's going to be Saturday, October 26th from 9:30 to 3 a.m., and it's a costume party. You can win $10,000, so it's a lot of money for a costume party, but costume contest, and they gave me 2 extra tickets to raffle off, so if you guys want to call in, 866-826-1340, and win the tickets and join us. And 866-826-1340. It's going to be great. And it's this Saturday, October 26th. And Jeremy Piven is actually hosting it, and he's from Entourage, Ari Gold. And he's also, I think, the principal of Old School, which is really cool. I love that guy. So 866-826-1340. And also, that's the number if you want to call in and join us on the show. So what we're going to do today, I want to welcome my guest. He's a published author. He's big on domestic violence, post-traumatic stress, and coping with the aftermath of growing up with a toxic family. And we're going to be talking about those things today. And he's the author of When the Dust Settles. And I want to welcome to the show Joe Potosi.
Hello, Tiffany.
Hi, Joe.
Thank you for this. Hello, thank you for this opportunity. Look forward to.
Yeah, me too. And thanks for being here. And I know that you've been through a lot of struggles, and you've used your struggles to help others. Not everyone gets through that kind of thing as a survivor, and I really commend you on that.
Thank you so very much.
And I've read your book. It's amazing, and it's one of those that I have actually told other clients to read when they've gone through something similar. Do you want to talk a little bit about your story and where you found your moment of clarity?
Sure. So, before I start that, if I could, I'd just like to share a little bit about domestic violence. So,
sure.
It's Domestic Violence Month. I believe it should be Domestic Violence Child Abuse Month every month. Anyway.
Yeah, mental health should be every month, too. We get a week or a month or something.
Yeah, I mean, awareness and education about these things, because it's just spiraling out of control from everything I've read. Mm-hmm. So, according to a report from CDC, as recently as 2014, 21% of all violent crime is domestic violence. But out of 7 women encounter domestic violence. And when there's a gun in the home or the apartment, there's a gun in the residence, the chances of homicide taking place goes up 500%.
Yeah, people get impulsive, and sometimes
right.
in a fit of rage, it could be dangerous to have something to use like that.
So, as I go into my talk, this is the piece I want to open up with. So, domestic violence doesn't just affect the man or the woman, because there are men victims of domestic violence, but it's far more likely that the women are it's a far greater number. But because of domestic violence in homes with children, in 2014, there was 700,000 reported cases of domestic violence and child abuse in the same homes. 700,000.
It's a lot.
And that's reported. And
those are people that actually report it. Yeah.
exactly is the skew. What I mean by that is, let's be honest, most people don't report. You know, they're afraid of the consequences if they do. You know, so they just put up with it. And that's what my mom did. And let me explain. So my mom and dad separated. I was under the age of 5, and we were living in the projects. We were pretty poor, and this new man that came into our lives. At the time, it was just me and my sister, and my baby brother Marty, and my mother was pregnant with our best friend. Well, a pattern developed where they would drink, get drunk, smoke weed, and he would beat her. This man is 6'5", 350 at one point. My mom was only 4'11". And when these episodes would take place, me and my sister would go hide. We would take our baby brother with us, and we would hide. But we couldn't hide away from the noise or the screaming and just the upheaval and the ruckus that was taking place under the roof. And as time went on, these type of scenes intensified to the point that my mom had 6 children in total. She had 2 sons to my stepdad. Me and my sister were kind of like, we use this phrase, we grew up fast. We had to grow up fast because we cared for our younger sibling. When I was a kid, I didn't really phrase PTSD. I've heard people talk about shell shock or whatever. But when you'd see your mother's head get stomped on the ground, like your stepdad, and you see him knock her into the wall, break her jaw, break her collarbone, you can't unsee those things, right?
Right.
But I did my yeoman's best to not only get out of the way, but to protect my kid brothers, you know. But it traumatized me very severely, and my daily company was anxiety, depression, and trepidation. Those were my friends, because I never knew what to expect. I never knew, you know, if he was going to kill her or, you know. And
it must have been terrifying to grow up with, Joe.
It was extremely terrifying, especially because I talk about this in my book that, you know, although my father left when I was really young, I remembered my dad, the experiences, the memories, and I wanted that back. And it was a thorn in the side of both my mother and my stepfather. And so they would take it out on me, lock me in the basement. But, you know, not long after my stepdad was on the scene, when my mother would beat me, she would turn around and take it out on me and my sister, physically assault us, because it was our fault. I know it doesn't make sense, but that's what it was, you know? And eventually, you know, when I began school, I was in 2nd grade, and I remember telling, you know, I was really struggling in class, in school. My attention span, I couldn't focus, and I was scared to leave at the end of the day, and she picked up on that. And I told her that my mom, I remember what I said to her, my mom was beating me every day. Yes, man. So she used that as a way to come and meet my mom or stepdad and find out what was really going on. But in my heart of hearts, I was hoping somebody would step in, you know, like the cops or the social services would have been involved, and that at the end of the day, the domestic violence toward my mother would have stopped. The abuse that I suffered and my sister, and as time marched on, my other siblings would have stopped. You know, in the perfect world, my dad would have came back. We would have been reunited. So obviously that didn't happen.
Right. Well, kids wish that stuff all the time. If their parents are split up or divorced, or they always want their parents, not always, but a lot, want their parents to reunite.
You know, I remember my sister on more than one occasion when my mother would try to get to one of my younger brothers in a drunken rage. My sister would, she would literally lay over him or crouch over him so she could get access to him, and my mom would just take it out on her, And we begged her to leave him, but she basically, in spite of all the abuse, all the torture she was under, she stayed in that relationship.
A lot of people do. Yeah. A lot of people stay in toxic relationships for fear of what will happen after. They say that with psychology, there's a training tool, and you write down your problems, and it's a group practice, and everybody puts their problems in a basket, and then they pass it around the room, and you pick out other problems from just other people's problems. And statistically, more people would want their own problems back rather than take on someone else's, even if they're worse, because it says that we're familiar with what we have to cope with, and we tolerate it. We know how it feels, so we pretty much want our stuff back.
Yeah, we used to go to the Y, and when we were still with my stepdad, he would drop us all off, my mom and us boys, and my mom would do whatever she does or whatever, and we would swim and do whatever, play basketball. And then it was time for us to go. And 1 hour would pass, 2 hours, 3 hours. My stepdad never showed up to pick us up. And my mother had no money, so it was in the winter. We walked home. And my youngest brothers were quite small. And by the time we got home, instead of my stepdad apologizing to my mother and to us, he beat her, because she walked home in the cold with his sons. I mean, he turned it around like it was all her fault. And I think all of us...
That's a common abusive behavior. Nobody wants to own up to their own abusiveness. I don't know. I want to welcome callers to call in 866-826-1340 if you want to chime in or give feedback or join the discussion. 866-826-1340. I'm really sorry that you went through all that, Joe, and it's tough. But look at you today, published author, and
Hey, Tiffany, I was going to mention the one story in the book, about him beating her, and he was still in the bed with me and told me to screw her. Unless you think that's too graphic.
It's not too graphic, but let's take our first commercial break, and then we'll be back in just a moment. And I'd love to hear some segments of your book. And we'll be back with Moments Clarity. Stay tuned.
You're listening to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner. We welcome your input at 866-826-1340. Tiffany will be right back after this.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Are you looking to expand your knowledge in the mental health field and earn CEU credits at the same time? DID Discovering Hope is having their annual Creating Resilience Conference on November 15th and 16th, and it's open to all trauma survivors and therapists. 2 days of educational workshops will be led by internationally respected experts, including keynote speaker Dr. Colin A. Ross. For mental health professionals, 11 hours of CEUs are available. For more information or to register, visit diddiscoveringhope.org. Once again, that's diddiscoveringhope.org.
Hi, this is Tiffany Werner, your host of Moments of Clarity. Living with a mental health disorder is not easy. If you or someone you know are struggling with this, please know it's so important to seek treatment, and I'm here to help. Please visit the website at momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com to view blog posts and resources on this site to help educate and inspire you to take action, because there's no shame in seeking help for mental health.